What's up, guys? It's Billy comes to you guys with a brand new video. So you just got your new mirrorless DSLR camera. You're ready to take that Logitech Brio or Logitech C920 Razer Kiyo. You're ready to throw that webcam in the garbage. Well, you plug up your mirrorless DSLR that you spent, I don't know, upwards of $1,000 or so on, maybe even $400, $500, and your quality looks like this. I'm gonna show you how to change something that looks like this into something like this. Now, something you guys gotta know is that when it comes to mirrorless DSLRs, you can get away with a setup, maybe $400 to $600. You don't need to spend like $1,200, $1,300 like I have on this setup right here. You can get something as, you know, really good quality out of a $400 to $600 lens and camera body. Something I love about mirrorless DSLR setups, you can get so many different looks between how you could have your lighting set up. Like me particular, I have all my RGB lighting going pink and like cyan colors. And then I have some Naturally canvas panels to give me some side glow. And I think that helps big time. Okay guys, so we're starting off right now, straight out of the camera. This is what you get without tweaking anything. So I'm gonna show you guys in the settings, things that I tweak. We're definitely gonna want hardware info display off so we don't have all these things on. When you have it on, it's on by default. You have all of these things and no one wants that on their stream. So be sure to turn it off. Next, HDMI resolution, 1080p. You definitely want 1080p, not 1080i. Let's get down to the actual settings here. Image size doesn't matter, aspect ratio doesn't matter, but I set it to 16:9 just cause. File format doesn't really matter because we're not actually recording video. Record setting, however, set it to 60p. If you want 60 frames, 60p is the way to go, or 24p. So look at it this way, 60p is 60 frames, 24p is 24 frames, 1080p. Focus area, wide. First of all, you're gonna wanna make sure you're in movie mode. If you're not in movie mode on your camera, it's gonna look really weird. You're gonna have some weird artifacting in your eyebrows and stuff, and no one wants that. So switch to movie mode. Now, this one's huge. In settings, you want to set your movie mode to manual exposure, so you have control over everything. The shutter speed, the ISO, the aperture, the exposure, everything. That's what's going to give you your amazing look. So I actually turn on the hardware info display so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing and what's going to tweak what. So first of all, we're going to mess a little with the shutter speed. Now, the shutter speed's pretty important. You don't want to go too low, you don't want to go too high. So basically for your shutter speed, if you're going 60 frames, you're either gonna want to mess around and go to 60, because the reason I sometimes go to 60 is because I get some banding on my RGB lights, but normally you're gonna want to double your frame rate, whatever you're recording at. You're recording at 60 frames, you're gonna want to go to 125. If you're going for 24 frames, you're gonna want to go to something like 50. For me, for now, I'm gonna go to 125. Next, we're gonna mess with the aperture. Now, I like having the aperture super low. Something you'll notice about raising and lowering the aperture. The lower the aperture, the more background blur you get, the more light it lets in. We're gonna adjust the ISO really quick. Now, you do not, as you can see, if you adjust the ISO too much, you get a lot of noise. You don't want noise in your webcam feed, absolutely not. So we're gonna jump all the way down. We're gonna have the ISO as low as we can possibly go, and then we'll just compensate with the aperture. So we're gonna go all the way to 200 on there. Now you can't see me, so we're gonna adjust the aperture and bring it all the way down to f1.4, as low as it'll go. Now I use manual focus, so I'm able to adjust the focus any way I like. But first of all, we're gonna need some actual lighting. So we have the outside world peeking in right now, but we're also gonna turn on some studio lights. So I'm gonna start off by turning on my nano leafs. Hey Siri, turn on my lights everywhere.
Okay, the lights are on.
Thank you. And then we're gonna set up my source light. Now I use a studio light. It's just like a studio rope light. We're gonna turn that on right now. You can already see that the video looks so much better. We still have some tweaking to do though. So we're gonna adjust the focus to our liking. So like I said, I use manual focus. If you wanna use autofocus, that's up to you. I use manual focus. So I'm actually gonna adjust my ISO a little bit because I noticed that it still is not bright enough for my shot. That looks about right. Now some icing on the cake settings. You guys are gonna wanna adjust your white balance. Now it's all according to the color of your shot, the color of your walls, your lighting, it comes down to your personal area, how you want to set up the white balance. For me, I think the white balance cloudy works best for the shot that I'm trying to achieve. White balance is super important to the shot that you're trying to achieve. Let me show you how much white balance could actually change the look of your shot. I mean, look at this. This looks like, I'm in the Dark Knight right now, right? And then this looks like, I'm in a sauna or some shit, right? And this is my main shot, cloudy. There's just so many different types of shots. Look at this. This looks pretty cool that you can get by adjusting the white balance. Now you'll see here, the higher I go in aperture, the less background blur I'm actually getting. Like my lights are actually in focus back there. But you can also compensate for the darkness with the ISO and the rest of that. We're actually gonna bring it all the way back down to f1.4, and you can see that the background separation between me being the subject and the background is so much better. Now also some extra icing on the cake, you guys can adjust your creative style. Now creative styles are pretty important. I usually go for standard and then bring the contrast down 2 stops and then bring the sharpness up 2 stops. I feel that's what works best for me. Little tip for the nanoleaf lights and all your RGB lights, you're not gonna want them at 100% brightness all the time because the color will just get blown out and it'll just look like white back there. So I have my nanoleaf set to about 70%. So let me show you real quick. Hey Siri, set all of my lighting to 100% brightness. As you see, it just looks white now. It doesn't look very good, does it? So watch how big of a change 30% brightness makes. Hey Siri, set all of my lights to 70% brightness.
Okay.
Now you can see, you can actually see the color. You can actually go lower if you want, but I think 70% is a sweet spot for me. The beautiful thing about mirrorless DSLR cameras is depending on the time of day, let's say, because right now it's about 5 p.m. so the sun's kind of like dimming out and it's kind of a cloudy day, you can adjust on the fly. It doesn't matter if it's super bright out, you'll be able to adjust your shot the way you want it to look. And here's a tip. It doesn't matter so much about the camera body you choose, but the lens you choose, because a lens makes so big of a difference. The type of glass is more important than what you're shooting on. Think of it this way. When you have glasses, when you're vision impaired, is it your eyeballs that really matter, or is it the glass you put in front of them so you can see clearly? Same thing for cameras. Now, I'm not gonna say if you spend $50 on a really old DSLR that you're gonna get this picture if you pair it with like, a $100 lens. Of course not. There's a certain degree of quality that you got to pay for. But I'm saying something around the $400 to $500 range, find some deals on eBay for camera bodies only, and then just pick out a great prime lens. You'll be set and good to go. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Dude, it's starting to rain out there. That shit's crazy. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Peace and love. Be sure to like the video. I hope this was helpful for you guys. If it was, please let me know in the comments below. Hope to see you guys in the live streams. We're live on YouTube every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you guys there if you have any questions whatsoever. And yeah, thanks for the love. Adios for now, dudes.